In this video, we're going to determine the limit of y divided by x as xy heads towards the origin. So if we put 0 into here, it will break down. So consider the plane x equals 0. Consider this plane x equals 0. So that's this plane here. So that's this plane here. X equals 0. Well, I don't know if you can see properly, but there's a gap in between here. It's undefined when x equals 0. Look properly, and then there's a gap in between there. So along this x equals 0 plane, it breaks down. It's not in the domain. So we can ignore this x equals 0 here. It's undefined. So now consider making this to be 0. So along y equals 0, along y equals 0. So y equals 0 is along here. That is somewhere around here. This is y equals 0. Well, along y equals 0, put this into here. This whole thing here will then become a limit. When you put 0 into the y, it will then become this as x approaches 0. So along y equals 0, this whole thing here will become this. So as x approaches 0, it's always going to be 0. 0 divided by, let's say 0 divided by 3, that's 0. 0 divided by 2, that's 0. 0 divided by 1, that's 0. So as x approaches 0, this thing here equals 0. So along this path here, it equals 0. So bear that in mind. But then consider this plane y equals x. So y equals x looks like this. Y equals x looks like this. So that's on here. It will look something like this. It will look something like this on here. Is this diagonal line here? Is this diagonal line here? Y equals x. Well, anyway, consider along y equals x. So consider along y equals x. On this plane, y equals x. So hang on, let me think. So if we put this into here, so because y equals x, so put the x into here, this limit thing will then become limit x over x as x heads towards 0. There, you can see that this thing here is 1. That's why the limit here, well, it has a height of 1. So along y equals x, which is this thing here, as you head towards the origin, so you moving towards the origin, you are actually heading towards a height of 1. But then if you consider when y equals 0, which we did earlier, at y equals 0, if you head towards the origin, you're going to head towards 0. So you've got two heights here. So this is a plane y equals 0. If you head towards the origin, so start here, head towards the origin, which is here, and then head towards the origin here, you're going to head towards a height of 0. But then if you consider y equals x along this plane, head towards the origin, you're going to head towards a height of 1. So these two heights differ. In order for you to have a limit, they must head towards the same place. So we can now definitely conclude that the limit of this equals D and E does not exist. Because up here you're heading towards 1, down here you're heading towards 0. So we can conclude that it does not exist. So the answer is does not exist. Okay?